Thank you very much. I think we're waiting. It's 4 p.m. here from the United Kingdom. My name is Adeshokwe Olajide here on Chitchat with the Stars on Ben Television, where we sit down and have a little conversation with international superstars from Africa, being in the acting or the music world, where they share their experiences with us, and we could also be involved in it. Remember, this is, of course, sponsored by World Remit and powered by Prime Airtime, so that people can, engage with us. World Remit is the fastest, safest, and most reliable way, one of the most reliable ways to send money to family and friends around the world, particularly in Africa. So we're super excited that World Remit is supporting this Chit Chat with the Stars on Ben Television every single Saturday between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m., where we sit down and have a quick chat with our celebrity guests. I can see people already joining in the Zoom meeting. Like I said, it is a Zoom meeting of a different kind. This is where our guests, wherever they are, in the comfort of their own home or office or studio, will be joining us live to have a chat with us. So I'm stoked about that. Today, we're joined by an award-winning actor and now director, Ramsey Nouah from Nigeria, as well as a queen of music from Ghana, the Gold Coast of Ghana in Ethia. Both guests are definitely some of my favorite entertainers in the world. I'm sure, like a lot of people, I grew up watching and enjoying Ramsey Nouah on the screen, from soap operas, starting with soap operas, then going into movies, and later on going into movies as an actor, and now stepping into a different dimension as a director. So today, we just want to explore his journey. We just want to explore his journey from getting into acting, growing up in Nigeria, growing up in Lagos, deciding to choose the acting path, and then later on in his movie industry experience, switching gears and joining the director stable. So today it's going to be an interesting one, having a chat with him about that. And then from there, we'll be talking to the queen from Ghana, Ethia, a singer that, in my opinion, is not matched anywhere on the continent with her vocal ability, how she's performed on stages that I've been able to witness, and what she's creating with the music, how she's merging the sounds from soul to pop to Afro beats to jazz, how she's bringing those worlds together. And of course, how sadly COVID-19 has changed the course of the world and has changed how entertainers do business. She also released a song in the last couple of days. So I want to know what she's doing differently now to really be able to propel the music to the next level. So thank you very much for joining us. For everybody that's signing in, joining in as well, please make sure that your cameras are on mute. And if you want to ask a question, you could always just put a comment, just type a comment in below, and we'll be able to pick up your question or mic or mute you, so you can put your question directly to either one of our guests today. Again, I'm Adeshokwe Olajide here on Ben Television, Chit Chat with the Stars, sponsored by World Remit and powered by Prime Airtime. It's going to be, as much as we'll be talking to the guests today, I also thought that hopefully we'll be opening it up a little bit more to some of the people that have joined in the Zoom meeting as well. You can also come in and air your thoughts about, how you're living, how you're coping right now, how you're dealing with this incredible situation, the new way of life, the pandemic. I definitely want to know that. And second of all, if you've got any ideas or information that you'd like to share with the people, not only are we live via Zoom, we're also live on YouTube and broadcast on Ben Television. So whatever it is that we're doing here today, we'll also be sharing with a lot more people via the various channels that are out there. So we're currently waiting for our first guest to join us in Ramsey Nouah. And from there, we'll move on to the queen in Ethia from Ghana. Anybody that follows me know that Ghana, particularly in Africa, maybe because it's one of the closest countries to Nigeria, is a very dear country to myself. because one, I've visited a couple of times, and both times I've had amazing experiences, not only with the people, the culture, the food. I love the music. So, you know, any opportunity for me to get in tune with, you know, our brothers and sisters from Ghana, next door neighbors, I always want to take that opportunity. And of course, they've helped in, you know, taking and elevating the African popular sound to the next level. I know there's always going to be a little bit of arguments, and some people agree or not about the beginnings of authentic Afrobeat as well as high life music. Um, Ghanaians will tell you that high life is from Ghana, and they'll also tell you that Afrobeats started in Ghana as well. So it's yeah, it's always a very interesting conversation to have with our Ghanaian brothers and sisters. But I'm here to have it. You know, I think the addition of, you know, Ghanaian sounds to the growth of Afrobeats and African popular music right now cannot be underestimated at all. They've added a flavor to the sound that sometimes is very hard to find in Nigeria. And I'm talking about traditional elements, the high life elements, the Ghanaian sound, and producers as well as musicians have added that to it. And I think there's also there's also something extra that they do, which is speaking, you know, in Ga or Tree, you know, speaking the local dialect in their songs. Most times, Nigerian musicians, obviously because English is our second language or whatever you want to call it, first language, whatever, you know, most of the musicians from Nigeria tend to sing in English. So the music is more acceptable in Europe and the Western world. But sometimes Ghanaian music might have a little bit of a struggle because of that. I think I am now joined. Hello, Mr. Ramsey Nouah. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Absolutely, loud and clear. I hear you.
Oh my God. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you very much for taking your time out this Saturday to join us here on Chitchat with the Stars on Ben Television, of course, sponsored by World Remit and powered by Time Airtime. Mr. Ramsey Nouah is not only an award-winning actor, now, you know, he's joined the directorial seat. You are, you know, one of the most iconic actors to come out of Africa, not only Nigeria, one of the most inspirational actors that people like myself has witnessed to do it for decades. Not only do you continue to look like you're 21 years old, but you also continue to act like you are. So thank you very much for joining us today. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm good. And you don't need to tell me, you look great yourself. Yeah, you look absolutely great. Yeah. So I'm not seeing the COVID-19 written on you anyway. You seem like you're doing very well. Though you look isolated though.
I am just like you. I wanted to ask you,
who's the person behind the camera?
Well, the camera is actually being operated by myself.
Oh Lord.
That is the new way of life nowadays. We're having to find different ways of doing things, just more safer ways to do this. I wanted to ask you, how has COVID-19 affected, you know, the acting industry for a Ramsey Nouah?
Just make it seem like Ramsey Nouah is like an entity already in Nollywood. No, it's like it's affected every one of us. It's affected everybody, and there's a downside to it, as you can tell, because there's no way you can. The way it is now, the community of filmmaking or enjoying a film, it's like the cinemas. It's like, you know, where it's almost like saying, for instance, it's not fun when you sit back at home and then you watch football by yourself. You know, all the Premiership and everything, Premier Leagues and all. And you're just sitting by yourself and watching it without your boyfriends being around and you guys drinking, just screaming and shouting when they score. It's the same as, you know, taking popcorn, soft drinks and sitting with your girlfriend, your family, your loved ones, and watching a movie. All of that now has changed, and that's going to affect. It's definitely going to affect the industry like real bad. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed. You know, the way it is now, you just have to accept it. You know, until when this is all over, we have no idea when it will be over. We're just keeping our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Now, I know you've spoken about this many a times, but you know, like I spoke about you being an actor who has worked over decades within this industry and still looking like you just turned 21 2 days ago. I wanted to find out where the inspiration and how the journey of acting, how did that bug, where did that bug come from? Especially in a country like Nigeria, who for decades rarely celebrated people in the arts.
Yeah, true. You're very correct about that. You see, the potentials of the industry it's unfortunate in the political sector they don't know. They don't know the power and the potential. They just know that people appreciate us after a while. It's almost like saying we made bread out of stone, starting off Nollywood. And for me, I didn't see that when I was growing up. I didn't realize that, okay, fine, I had in me like an innate ability to be an actor. I just did it basically because I was looking for GCU money, as a matter of fact. But but then here we are, and it's been like a roller coaster ride, topsy-turvy. And with me, my mother, even when I started, my mother totally vehemently was against me being an actor. Because back then when we were growing up, you can tell that most of our parents do not appreciate anybody saying that they are an actor or they're they're in the art world or an artist or an artist. They don't want to hear. You had to be working as, either a banker at the time or a civil servant or something. So that is what they felt that was substantial at the time. But growing up, I just had a knack for being an actor, and then, I mean, at the time, it didn't pay. For years on ending, I was like, just doing it, like, not like I had money or whatever, but it took like forever. I remember when Fortunes came on air, we shot the pilot in 1991.
1993.
Yeah, we shot the pilot in 1991, and then it came on air in 1993, and it only lasted for 1 year, but they only paid me for a quarter. And then that quarter was just, I'm trying to remember, I think that whole quarter was just like 1,000 naira or 1,000 naira fee. Because then I think per episode I was earning like 80 naira or 100 naira or 100 and something. It's so hard. And I remember my first money that came to me, I went to bend down at Yaba to go and buy my first chinos, trousers. Bought my chinos and t-shirt and loafers at the time. Yeah.
Now, Fortunes was one of, even though you said it aired for just 1 year, it was so impactful in our lives that it felt like it ran and ran and ran. And that was where, to be honest with you, everybody fell in love with you as a person and as a character. Even though it was 1 year, talk to me about what doors that opened for you after Fortune, something as big as Fortune in terms of it being airing on.
I think it was after Fortune came the advent of home video, as a matter of fact. Home video had been there, don't get me wrong. Kenneth Nebwe, who's the owner of Neck Video Links, shot Living in Bondage in 1992.
Wow.
But Living in Bondage is an indigenous movie, which the language was practically Igbo, right? So by 1992, it was a smash hit. They cut across, and a lot of people would throw against it. They would go against it, saying that's the first Nollywood film, because they know Nollywood had been in existence. But the truth about it is, like, they cut across Nollywood film that went, like, you could say that went nationwide, is Living in Bondage. So that gained more acknowledgement nationwide, and as a matter of fact, beyond the shores of Nigeria. was living in bondage. So hence, it's almost like saying we now use it as a yardstick as what kicked off Nollywood at the time. So, Kenneth Ineboye was doing films, so there was a couple of films then. But after Fortunes lasted for just 1 year, which is 1993. By 1994, 95 was when he shot the first English home video, which was Glamour Girls. You know, and Kenneth Ineboye, I remember very vividly, sent me a letter to the house and called me for an audition, which was at the time, you know, it was like, wow, it was the first of its kind, you know.
Yeah.
And I obliged, but unfortunately, for some reason, we didn't have an agreement, so I couldn't do Living in Bondage with him at the time. And then I went ahead and did a couple of other movies, but then I think some of the movies that got to see the light of day finally was Silent Night, which was 1996. And that has been like a tremendous growth from 1996 till date. It's been like, as you very well know, my history.
Absolutely. Now, Living in Bondage is now is pretty much being brought back to life by yourself because you've decided to throw your heart into that ring. Talk to me about, you know, taking up the rights to this movie and deciding to do this next. Ramsey?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you were coming in stutters at some point.
Ramsey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you now. But you were coming in stutters and it was beginning to freeze. I don't know from where. Whether it's mine or yours. No, it's okay. It's it's the world we live in. So yeah, if I got your question correctly, you were asking.
You know,
yeah, go ahead.
Living in bondage has
That's sad. It's just like
now.
Okay, Mr. Ramsey, you can. So I need to cut now. You can talk. I think
I was asking about living in bondage. That
okay.
Now,
Josh, turn it off. Oh God.
You decide
if you just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment.
This movie and how why did you make that decision and how has things progressed so far? Yes, can you hear me? Okay, no problem at all. I think we're going to give Mr. Ramsey a couple of minutes to come back on. I'm sure. Can you give me, everybody else? Can you all give me a thumbs up? One of those moments. We're having one of those moments. Hear me? Okay. I'm going to unmute again. Check microphone. Check 2. Check microphone. Check 2. Check microphone, check 2.
Your mic is okay. We can hear you.
Okay, so you can hear me. All right, fantastic. So I think we're just going to wait for Mr. Ramsey to be back up. But I was just asking him about living in bondage, to be honest with you, because now he's gone to the next level where he's now pretty much, he's worked on living in bondage, breaking free in 2019. and I wanted to catch up with him about what the decisions was with him taking up the rights to that movie, a movie that a lot of us grew up watching and enjoying back in the 90s. As he said, that was a breakthrough home movie. I've got to be honest with you. That was a record, that a movie that changed things in the home movie industry. I think at that time, yes, there were home movies, but you know, Living in Bondage resonated with everybody. It resonated with us. It was stories that we had heard in the past, no matter if it was true or not, but we felt that at some point, you know, that story resonated with people. So I just wanted to know why, you know, he's gone on to do this in 2019. Yeah, thank you very much for keeping your patience here on Chit Chat with the Stars. I'm Adisha Olajide here on BENTV Television. This is sponsored by World Remit, one of the safest way and the quickest way to send money to family and friends around the world, particularly Nigeria. And of course, is powered by Prime Airtime. So we're waiting for Mr. Ramsey to join us back. I think either at the internet or there was a little bit of a power cut there, but I'm sure he'll be joining us. And after that, we'll be joined by Queen Efia from Ghana. Yeah, he was, I can see your message, Timmy. Yes, he started his acting basically from Fortunes. And I think Fortunes was, I never even thought that Fortunes was only broadcast for 1 year. That's incredible with the impact that Fortunes made on for years. I felt like it went on for years. It was being broadcast. I think there were reruns on television at the time. Hence why we felt like Fortunes was broadcast for a long, long time. I'm actually looking at the numbers. I think that Ramsey Nouah has acted in close to 46 movies. I think I could check that now. That's a lot. A lot of movies that if you look at his, you know, the list of movies that he's been in, he's acted in a lot of movies. And Fortunes was a groundbreaking series at the time. I think we had one initially from Joss in 1991, and then Fortunes. That was the second series that really was broadcast around Nigeria at the time. But it's interesting to hear that he was only being paid 80 pounds. 80, I said 80 pounds, 80 naira at the time. Yes. Please, you can also see Mr. Nouah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Thank you very much for that. Listen, I was just talking about Living in Bondage. You decided to take up the rights to that movie. I think it was 2019.
Yes.
Talk to me about the decision to do that and what the story has been.
Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just let me know first, because I think
yes,
we
I
can hear you.
Yes,
it's acting up. Okay, perfect. Yes, indeed. It was my friend. It was a good friend of mine who happened to also be the executive producer of the movie. His name is Charles Okwaleke. He approached me, and he said that, Ramsey, let's why don't we like do Living in Bondage? Let's do it again. I'm like, really? Wow. But to come to think of it, nobody has actually ever done a remake. Nobody has actually ever done a remake. Can you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hello? Wow.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't hear you. Good. Sorry, guys. Everything is just.
Sorry, no, we can hear you. You can continue your conversation, sir.
All right. Oh my God. Forgive me.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I know. I'm just having a bit of clash with my my it's jamming with something. I don't know what it is. So I'm hearing other things.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. So that's better now. Forgive me about this. It's ugh.
We're gonna send
It's still
send him a message.
it's still breaking off though.
No, so
It's
he
still
knows
breaking
that
off.
we can hear him.
Where is this thing? Why is it all jammed up? I'm gonna have to go back.
How is it now?
Yes, it's better. Can you hear me now?
No worries at all. Let me see.
It's just it's jamming. There's a whole lot of jamming going on. So I think it's better now.
Where?
Can you hear me?
There's either like an interruption on Mr. Nouah's phone, Mr. Nouah's service.
Hello?
Is this, we can hear you louder.
I can hear. I can hear you. It's just that it's breaking. And I don't know if it's my service or yours.
Okay.
I don't know what the problem is. But if you can hear me now,
we based on,
I'm really sorry about that. But I'm really sorry about that. Like it's always like difficult when you have to go through all this technology to actually convey videos, and sometimes the jam things just jam and then makes it pretty difficult. But if you can hear me, so yes.
This is Chitchat with the stars with the incredible Mr. Ramsey Nouah.
Yes, sir. Hello?
The audio from Mr. Ramsey is clear. Continue the conversation that we can hear you very clear and clear.
Perfect, perfect. I got that already. So that's fine. If you can hear me, I'll just explain, because you asked the question about how did I kickstart living in bondage?
Yes.
So yeah, it was done by Charles Opaleke, my friend, who introduced it to me and said, let's do why don't we try shooting a sequel to Living in Bondage? I'm like, wow, that'll be the first, but I'll be glad to take that, to kick it off. So we started indeed.
Yes.
Immediately, because he's like, that one is like my friend Charles Okoleke is like it's like a firecracker. Any little thing he just sparks off and is ready to go. So while we were there talking to him, he said, "Are you certain you want to do it?" I said, "Of course, why not? Let's do it." I said, "Okay, let's get the right." I'm like, "Okay, fine." And I called the executive producer of Living in Bondage, Mr. Kenneth Nebwe, who also happened to be the producer. And we flew to him because we're in Abuja together, myself and Charles, and we flew to Owerri to go and see Mr. Kenneth Nebwe to get the right. And he gave us the right after negotiation and discussion. And then we came back, but it took us quite a while before we filmed it, because myself and Charles had at the back of my mind that if we had to do something, it has to be really, really well done and worth it. Besides, you can't go and take a story of that magnitude, the one that kickstarted like Nollywood, and not do it right and not do it well. So we went all out to make it happen. It took us like over 3 years or more, because we got the rights of living in bondage since 2016 something, and we didn't get to start filming until 2018. So you have an idea how long it took us. So the reason why that took a while was because we were trying to find a balance with, you know, getting the demography of those who actually watched Living in Bondage originally, and those who now go to the cinemas now, or who now watch movies, to see how we can bridge the gap and still make those who watch the originals and the new ones that have not seen Living in Bondage to be able to see the job and then enjoy it. And you can still pass the message of the original Living in Bondage across all through, you know, all through the platform. And that's what took a while. And then also originally we got Steve Gukas, you know, who happens to be, as very well known, a big director in Nigeria, to direct initially. And Steve just looked at it, and for some reason he thought that I could do it, I could pull it through. And he told me, like, okay, Ramsey, you know, you should direct it instead. And that's how I got it. And then I got to direct it, and he produced. He now became the producer. So we had this partnership and this trio between myself, Charles Opaleke, who, as you very well know, is the owner of Play Network, Steve Gukas, who happens to be Native Films, and we just came together and tried to put the best in it to make it work. And we're really glad that people love it. They really love it, and it's also like sort of like became like a benchmark for the industry as we speak. I hope I didn't get.
What I wanted to ask you is this: What is it like looking for a budget for movies nowadays? Has it become better, or is it still difficult?
Well, it depends. It all totally depends. Now, making film in Nigeria, there's a whole lot of drawback factor. You know, to start with, lots of people who go to cinemas to watch the movies already have an orientation of watching Hollywood films, and they're used to it, and they're used to that kind of budget kind of film. So when Nollywood comes with their very small budget and then small, it seems to most of the people like, oh my God, this is not worth my time. This is not worth my energy, not worth my viewing.
Yes.
So it's a bit of drawback. In trying to catch up, to meet up with those people who watch movies right now, means you need to increase budget. It means your budget needs to increase to a certain extent for you to be able to do, to a level, to get to a level, so that your production will have an appeal to this audience. And now that's quite dicey, because on the business front, there's no certainty that kind of budget, there's a way to make it back. There's no certainty. It's almost like a fluke. So now convincing anybody to shoot like that is quite really difficult, because shooting Living in Bondage was quite a budget. It's quite a huge budget. And it's not a budget for, how do I say, like a philanthropy kind of job, you know, it's an investment kind of job. So the investor's looking for the return, you know. So you look for every other thing. So basically when we tried it, we're just hoping that, you know, there's going to be like a wave, a new wave, just to up the game to a certain extent where, you know, and I'm really happy for that, because Charles Opaleke is like, he has not recouped his investment, but he's actually very happy with the way the movie turned out and the acceptance, you know. He's quite very, very happy. Yes, that really pushed him. Yeah. And then also now it's also on Netflix.
Netflix is on Get Living in Bondage on Netflix. Movies that people can go and check. Looking to enjoy the 20th century Nollywood, please go and check that out on Netflix. I want to open the floor to some of our questions for Mr. Ramsey. Nouah, please indicate and let's pass that question to an iconic actor and a kind of movie person in our meeting personally. I didn't want to put a question forward, so please type up any question. When do we expect? Mary is saying, when do we expect part 2, Mr. Nouah?
Part 2 of what? Living in bondage?
Yeah. Are you, is she saying, yeah, when do we expect part 2? But part 2 is pretty much living in bondage, really.
I know, right?
Breaking free.
Breaking free. It's a sequel.
Mary,
it's a
do you
sequel.
want to unmic yourself and ask the question? Yes. Mary, can you unmute your mic and put the question forward?
Hello,
Or
good
you
evening.
can type
Can you
the
hear
question
me?
as well. Mr. Nouah,
I can
Good.
hear you, Mary.
Wow, I am so happy and
we
elated
can
to
hear
see
you.
Mr. Ramsey Nouah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so I enjoyed the movie. I watched it on Netflix and I was like,
Yes.
wow. Okay, so
Amazing.
I saw the end and I was expecting more.
I know, right?
Yeah, so I was expecting more. Like there's something. Richard Williams travels to where he has to come back and deal with where he
That's the
stopped.
thing. I don't know why everybody just wants the antagonist to always die. I know I get this thing all the time. Like, what happened to Richard Williams? He didn't pay for his sins. He needs to die in that film. We need to kill him.
Yes, okay. Nnamdi is in the hospital. He recuperates. Then I think he's meant to get married to Kelly later on. I don't know how the plot will be, but and I actually sent in questions earlier. I was asking if I can actually feature in the sequel to Breaking Free, where I'm just a friend to Kelly or something. So I know that there's still more story after this. So when do we expect it? When are you going to start?
In all honesty, when I left the cliffhanger there, it wasn't because I was thinking I was going to do a sequel. Another part to it. No, it wasn't that. It was more of the fact that I felt there's no way. I didn't want it to end in a way. I just wanted to end like, okay, wow, just leave it in the hearts of people. Let them decide what it is exactly. So I don't want a situation where, they find the ending. Yes, the ending was bliss, or the ending was nice, or the ending wasn't nice, or anything. I just left it like that. So you decide how it ends. But now there's been so much call for a part 2 that it's so reverting that we have no choice. We have to go back to the board and start thinking of what to do for a part 2. So, but hopefully sometime next year we'll kickstart it. But right now, no. Right now, I'm working on another sort of a remake of one of the oldies too, Rattlesnake.
Wow.
Those strong movies. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, we intend to release that sometime late this year, and maybe then we'll think about a sequel to a part 2 to Living in Bondage.
Breaking Free. Okay.
Yeah, Breaking Free.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much.
Hello, Mr. Ramsey. How are you?
I am very well, Ronke.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show. So I was going to ask quickly, this, your character and other people who played occultic guys in the film, do you guys ever have any fear of any repercussion whatsoever? Does it cross your mind? Like you're revealing their secrets and everything. How do you cover yourself? How do you deal with that?
It's somebody has to tell the story. Someone just has to tell the story. Someone has to take the bull by the horn and then let people know about these things that are happening in the society, or how it's going on. So some of it will add a little fiction to it here and there. Some of it has, a bit of truth to it. And that's just the way to, let people know that this is really happening in your environment, in your society. So be aware. And I have no fear. Like, there is no fear whatsoever, because I'm not pointing fingers at anybody to say, like, okay, you are this, you are that, you are that, you are this. No, no, no. Such a general thing. So if you are suspicious of anybody with that kind of money around you, who's like a Richard Williams, and yeah, you could make a report. You could report the person to the police. That's if you get to catch him. If he doesn't disappear.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Ramsey. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Timmy.
Yeah. Yes. Good evening. Calling from
Good
London.
evening. Yes. Good evening.
Yes. Anytime I see you, I just remember the time of fortune. I can remember that journey from
Yes, I
where
know.
it looks like you started till now, and you're still so relevant in the industry. And
I
you've
know.
taken that industry of soap opera of 8 o'clock to a big movie where we can now watch it on Netflix. I would say.
You can imagine. You can imagine how times have changed, right?
Yeah.
It's so amazing when you think about it. Like back then, I remember some of us had like what kind of funny like looking TVs, those bulky big TVs, and then you have to like go sit with your family friends and then sit and then watch the 8 p.m. soap operas at the time. And there were a couple of them. There was Behind the Clouds.
Yeah.
There was
Part of life. Awa.
Exactly. There's a lot of them that you have to sit down and watch. But look at it now in your home and everywhere. You just have it. Cinemas,
Wow.
It's really good how times have changed. Yeah.
Wow. Thank God for holding that dream, keeping that dream going, that you never stopped because you like faced so much obstacle others during that time.
Yes. Yes.
So looking at you now, what can we learn from that journey from you? What can you say, the summary of it all?
It's hard. I don't know how to explain if my story can possibly have an appeal or can probably help anybody. There's a possibility that it could. But for me, I always just say I think it's innate. I think it's in you. You just need to find it in you, to discover yourself and think, what do you want to do and how do you want to achieve it? To me, it was just tenacity. I just believed in it. I loved it. I was very, very passionate about it. And it's all I just tell people. You need to be passionate about something. Once you're passionate about it, you're not concerned whether you're being remunerated for it or not, whether you're getting anything or there are any gains. You're not concerned about the gains. You're just concerned about the work. Like some painters, they paint lovely work of art, and then you see them, they're not bothered about whether it's going to fetch them good money or something. They just go out and just do it because they love it. And they will churn it out. Then you have somebody who becomes an intermediary, who becomes the marketer, who goes and then pitches out, look, this guy's out of work of art, he's worth 1 million, 10 million pounds, and all of that stuff. But to the people who actually do it, they're not bothered about the work of art. They just do it because they love it. And that's what I tell lots of people. Like, you need to love your work. If you don't love what you're doing, then there's no point. You're just doing it to get your money, to get your funds, and that's it, basically. So I love what I do, and I think that it's really helped me and skilled me through all the hurdles of it all, and I still have my head above the waters and everything. And here I am, and I thank God for that.
Thank you for that response there. Someone just asked that, is there an actor or actress that you'd still want to act with? But I know that you've acted with a lot of people across the continent and beyond. Who is that one actor or actress that still catches your attention that you'd like to get to work with?
I mean, it's it's kind of like strange. I'm a big fan of Al Pacino. I'm a very big fan of him. I wish I could work with him one of these days. For a female actress, Viola Davis is one of my best actresses. I love her. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. One other person who's asking another question there, Eva Marie. Unmute yourself and put your question across, please. No? Okay. I just wanted to say, well,
hello?
People ask, yes, we can hear you. Quick, put your question
across. Thank you very much for this. I really want to say I appreciate the graphics in the movie. It was fantastic. Really, really,
thank you.
From what we used to know, And compared to what we have right now, it's really a good job. And we hope that what you're doing will really affect the industry properly, where people come to do movie and give detailed attention to graphics. Is a kudos from me. Nice one, bro.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. You sound like a graphics person to yourself.
Exactly.
Nice one. Nice to meet you, Yemi. Pleasure.
Otumba, can you please unmute your microphone, sir? Otumba would like to ask a question. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, Ramsey.
Hello, sir.
Yes. I remember very well when I started watching the local Nollywood movies. If Ramsey is not there, I'm not likely to continue. So
wow.
Got to stage when my wife will say to me, "Your son is not in this movie," so now, but for me, what I want to see is just a form of a contribution. Ramsey, I want to say this to you. Please understand that the youth, the average Nigerian youth, they have so much belief in people like you. What you say they should do, I'm not saying they should not go and, they should go and take cutlass or whatever, but use the opportunity, use all the platforms to support them, educate them, get them to be more informed. So the more informed electorate we have, the better for governance in Nigeria. As you can see, I'm sure you will have a long list of these disadvantages you also have to endure in doing your job. So I'm begging you, please use all you have to support millions of Nigerians, and maybe in your film, it may be in production, it may be in different kind of thing, to get them informed, to let them know this is how governance is supposed to be. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. I have to go to the next meeting now. But wait for your response. Let me wait for your response before I go.
All right, sir. Okay, sir. In getting them informed and using whatever platform, my platform, to inform the youths, it's a key factor. Filmmaking is sort of like an insight to what the society is. So we talk about it. It's sort of sometimes we make a satire and inform the people. So you pass the message across. It's not a direct educational platform. That's not where I work. I don't work with direct educational platform. But if you can read between the lines and you can understand, sometimes it's quite open, the message that we try to pass across. In some of our storytelling, we talk about the ills of governance. Sometimes you can feel the undertone of it. You can feel the undertone of what's going on. Corruption, bribery. Talk about the hierarchy of personalities and people in the society that that takes charge because they're in certain offices and think that they can control and do things to the detriment of the citizens. All these things, we talk about them. We talk about them in our storytelling. And right now, before now, it's basically for me, it's more being an actor. But right now, I'm into filmmaking. So two different things. So most times in my storytelling, I tend to inculcate undertones of these issues, these ills in the society, and passing the message across. But otherwise, usually also when I go on my own to events and things like that, we talk about situations, things like that are happening that's not right, political issues. We address them in public forums. So yeah, that's my own little way of contributing and passing this thing across.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Otumba.
Thank you, Otumba,
for asking this question. And once again, Mr. Ramsey Nouah, I'd like to take this opportunity to appreciate you for joining us this Saturday evening and sharing your thoughts with us. Congratulations on a marvelous career so far. You are one of those that have paved the way for the industry we enjoy today, and the reason why some of us continue to do what we're doing. We look forward to more content coming from you. And would you like to share your social media and any other thing that you'd like to pass to our viewers and Ben Television and those that have joined us live? here on Chit Chat with the Stars?
Sure. Let me start with some of the jobs that I have in the offing. I already have thrown it out in the open already. So myself, I'm the same executive producer, Charles Opeleke, who owns Play Network. We're working on Rattlesnake.
Wow.
A remake.
Wow.
A remake.
Wow.
A remake, not a sequel. Yes. So we are already in pre-production as we speak, and also we also film in Nneka, the Pretty Serpent. If anyone of you remember those old movies,
yes, we
so
do.
It's almost like saying that, okay, Ramsey, no, it's just combing all the oldies and then bringing it back. Well, I mean, it's a good start. A lot of people, there was a time in Hollywood when they were just doing throwbacks and then remaking throwbacks and all. Yeah. So I think it's about that time for Nollywood too. And I'm glad that I started it. It makes me really happy. I feel really good, So I'm doing Rattlesnake in pre-production. We're also working on Naked Pretty Serpent. Also, I have a very big another project too of mine, which is called Man in the Mirror. We started Man in the Mirror. We're supposed to have started that before now, but unfortunately, COVID-19, because of that, we had to pack that up a little.
Pack that up.
You're going to give me a second because I think I'm out of power again.
Yeah.
It's been happening. Just give me a second. Let me bring that back very quickly.
No problem at all, sir.
You can go on and anchor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're just joining us, it's Chit Chat with the Stars here on Ben Television, sponsored by World Remit, the most reliable way and the quickest way to send money to family and friends around the world, especially back home to Nigeria. I'm joined by the incredible actor, Ramsey Nouah, and now director, one of the pioneers of the Nollywood industry, those that have created an industry that we now celebrate around the world, not only in Africa, in Europe, in the West Indies, as well as North America. I think we've got Tivia. Tivia, do you want to take this opportunity just to ask your question? I was trying to read it earlier on.
Yes. Hi, Mr. Ramsey Nouah. I'm streaming from the U.S. I'm from New Jersey. My question is, are you going to be doing other remix of original Nollywood movies? That's basically what my question is.
I think that's what he was actually talking about before his power was cut off. He was talking about remakes such as, I think it was a Rattlesnake or Nneka the Pretty Serpent, a few old movies. He's looking into remaking them and bringing them back. But I think his power is just coming back on. So I'll let him continue that. Mr. Nouah, can you hear us? I think you can. If you unmute your mic.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Brilliant. Now. So yeah, Tivia was just asking the question that you were speaking about, your remakes of old Nollywood classics.
Okay. So sorry. It's how it is here in Lagos. When there's a big when there's a downpour coming, everything just goes off. Yes. So it's gotten really cloudy and it's about to start thundering and raining. So that's where we are. Yes, you were saying.
Tivia, can you put your question directly again?
Yes, my question is, are you going to be doing remakes of original old Nollywood movies?
Well, not everything, of course, not everything, but a few. Like I've laid my hands on right now. Not me particularly, but my colleague and friend. He's very keen. He's very up in doing old Nollywood films. So he's going to get all the rights of as we speak. He has Living in Bondage. He has Rattlesnake. He has Nneka the Pretty Serpent. He has Glamour Girls.
Wow.
Yes. So he wants to do all of those. And I'm like, okay. So, well, that's where we are. So I'm working with him on Rattlesnake. I'm working with him as a co-producer on Nneka the Pretty Serpent. But he's co-producing with other people on the other titles that I just told you about just now. So, well, it's not going to be all remakes for me, of course. Yeah. Like the other job that I was talking to you about, my own personal job is not a remake. Man in the Mirror, it's a different total story entirely. Like I said, I was supposed to start that off, unfortunately, but COVID-19 has put that on hold in the meantime. So hopefully might get into production sometime before the end of the year.
Yes.
So that one is pending. That one is very pending. And there are a couple of other jobs that we have in the offing that we're working on very strongly.
No, that's amazing, sir. Like, and I'm super excited to see what the 20th century will bring to those stories like Rattlesnake, Necker, the Pretty Serpent, Glamour Girls.
I know, right?
That's going to be
I
incredible.
I know.
Would you like to share your socials with our, with our Ben Television family as well, so people can follow you and just follow everything that you're doing, because that's where the information is going to be coming from going forward.
True. It's Ramsey Nouah. My IG is Ramsey Nouah. My Twitter is Ramsey Nouah, at Ramsey Nouah. Nouah isn't spelled Nouah. That's what it is. And those are my only strong. Well, I'm not a very strong person. I'm not social media savvy. It's kind of like strange, but it just doesn't. This is funny. Yeah. So, but those are just my handles.
Your platforms.
And yes, my platforms. And yeah, talking about BENTV, I was going to throw it at you guys. Yeah.
Yes.
You guys have been there like forever, right? Because
yes.
Let me put this together. Hold on, let me try and remember. BENTV was there was it early 2000 or late 90s?
Early 2000. Mr. Ali says here, yeah, this is the first ethnic minority TV station in Europe of any kind.
Yes, I remember very vividly. It's like been forever. I remember because I've been on BENTV for years on ending. I don't know, it was early 2000. Yes, some of the first times I came to London then, I was always go to BENTV. I was always go to BENTV. It's good work. It's good work. I mean, I can't believe you guys have spanned all these years and are still there, relevant and strong. Kudos to you guys, man. Big kudos.
Absolutely. A brainchild of Mr. Alistair Shoyode, who has been an incredible leader in that area, who wants to tell the story of Nigerians and Africans in the world. And I think he's used Ben Television as that platform and tool, not only to celebrate people like yourself, but to ensure that we keep this conversation going. And once again, just as you said, a big kudos to Mr. Alistair Shoyode and the entire crew. Thank you very much for recognizing that, Mr. Nouah. And you spent 1 hour with us here. I'd like you to go back to your family so we don't steal you away this Saturday evening. But
I've been, thank God to the COVID-19. It's just almost like it's like a reorientation for most of us. Most of us that are always barely at home. So you now discover, okay, you're home these days, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. I didn't know my son was this fault. I didn't know my daughter was this bad. So he was thinking, okay, we need to correct a few things in the house, and it's put a lot of things in perspective. Brought in love, care, emotion. More. It's impacted the family very strongly. A stronger bond, more like, and it's worked very strongly for us. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day. Yeah.
And you too.
We're now joined in by a queen from Ghana, from the Gold Coast, one of my favorite countries in the world. Her name is Efia. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the wonderful Efia? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And I can see you as well.
Let me just get my sound right. I think.
So thank you guys for joining us here on Chitchat with the Stars on Ben Television, sponsored by World Remit and powered by Prime Airtime. I'm now joined by a queen from Ghana in Efia. Efia, how are you doing?
Hi, sir. Good evening. I'm very fine. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. A blessing to hear from you. You're currently in Ghana, are you?
Yes, please. I'm in Ghana.
First of all, I mentioned that you are a singer-songwriter, but I think if I asked you to introduce yourself, Efia, how would you? I'll talk about what my thoughts are about Efia's style, but how would you introduce yourself to an audience that don't know who Efia is?
First off, I would say thank you for having me once again. It's a real pleasure. I really appreciate you. I would say my name is Jane Awendo from Ghana, but my stage name is Efia. You spell it Efya. I
Yeah.
sing a combination of Afro, soul, Afro pop, and sometimes a little bit of jazz in the mixture. My sound differs depending on what kind of sound I'm trying to create because I am very, very versatile. And actually, sometimes that's a little bit problematic because then I don't know where I really want to fit. But I've been able to structure the beauty in my voice and been able to access it in different ways and times and places to also find what it is that I really want from such a voice as mine because it's very powerful. I've been working in the music industry um, probably like 12 years now,
Wow.
professionally, I would say. Um, yes, and I got into music by entering into a competition called Stars of the Future in my country. And when after that, I was put together with a girl called Irene, who was one of the contestants. She actually won the competition, and we were put together to form a girl group called Irene and Jane, and that's how it started.
No, that's amazing. I just want you to make sure that your mic is. Are you mic'd up properly? Are you full volume?
Um, like I'm all
Please give.
set. I'm all. I'm
We
all.
can hear you
Can you
closer
hear
like that.
me?
We can hear you well like that. So
Oh
can you
shit.
hear me?
Okay,
Yes.
so
So now, well, one of the interesting things about you is you are also professionally trained as a musician and an actress. Talk to me about that.
yeah, for the music, I did do music in school. But I was basically born into a film school and
Mm.
a family of like filmmakers, I would say. My mom was the first camera woman in the country, and
Wow.
she had like a very, very, very big part of the film industry in my country. And my dad, also the same, is a film director. So I was actually brought up in a very, very creative house. So
Mm.
when I started doing music, I didn't think it came as a surprise to anybody about it. Honestly, with the acting, it comes naturally because I'm very, funny sometimes and
Mm.
everything. But this, I gotta learn lines and stuff like that.
Mm.
But I'm grateful I was able to do most of the things that I loved, and I was supported by my family.
Mm.
Because I know how difficult it is for young people, especially creatives and their
Yep.
families and stuff like that. I'm grateful I had a different story.
Talk to me about Ghana. You touched on something interesting there in the sense that how difficult young people find it to go into the arts and be supported by their families. But you were blessed to be supported by both parents coming from the creative side. But tell me about Ghana. What was it like in Ghana? When you started to make music, who were the kind of people you looked up to within the music industry?
I would definitely say when I was growing up, Kojo would definitely be one of the people that I would highlight. Amachi Dede, Daddy
Hmm,
Yimba,
hmm,
Japan. These were the people that were making the music I was listening to, even though I was also listening to like a lot of foreign music because of my jazz basis. Aretha
yep,
Franklin is somebody that I listened to like a lot when I was growing up. Um, with a mixture of most of the old school R&B, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. So I
hmm,
had the infusion of those two sounds. Now, when I started singing, I basically was doing a lot of like alternative like music, which was not so popular in the mainstream in Ghana. But I
yep,
found a way to like blend it with the mainstream music without losing the touch of my voice because of the
hmm,
type of voice that I have. So
yeah,
it was quite difficult. It was difficult in the beginning, but as we kept going, we let them know that this is what it is that we have. Even though it's different, we're gonna stick to what we know because we're sure that definitely come soon, everybody's gonna love it. And yeah, as of now, I've won Best Female Vocalist in the country 5 times. So I'm sure I did good.
That's it. Yeah. I need you, as you're speaking, I need you to move closer to the phone so that we can hear you well. Oh.
It's because if I move closer to the phone like that, now
You
my
see?
face, you won't see me. Oh.
But we are hearing you properly. Now, yes, you won the best female vocalist in Ghana for was it 4 or 5 straight years?
Yeah, it was 4 straight years, and then I got it back again last year. So
What is that? What kind of feeling do you get from such an accolade where you are voted as the best female vocalist in your entire country consecutively for 5 straight years, for 4 straight years?
Coming up at the beginning, it was very, very surprising. Can you hear me? Is it good now?
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
very,
we can
very
hear you.
surprising. It was very, very surprising, but also very, very encouraging because I mean, if I wanted for the first 2 times, I was like, okay, I was making hit music that was catching up, and everybody loves it, and I did deserve it. But then, the third time, you're like, whoa, okay, it's exciting. There's a lot of pressure. It's like, okay,
Yes.
is this something I'm trying to do back to back to back to back to back? And then I got it for the 4th time, and I was like, yeah, maybe I might be able to get this back to back. But then I lost it for like 2 years. So in between those 2 years, I was winning other Ghana Music Awards.
Yeah.
But for the female vocalist, it was like, oh, okay, phew, because I was thinking y'all was gonna give it to me again. But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
all of those moments, I'm always very, very, very grateful even to be nominated, because I feel like you have to be loved in your country first before you can be loved anywhere
Yes.
else. It's very, very, very important to me to be relevant here and very impactful here and very inspirational here, because I believe that once my people have my back, wherever I go, they will see where I'm coming from and know the kind of energy that has been backed, and they will know that there's no way that they shouldn't jump on the wave.
Absolutely. Speaking about that, you've collaborated with some of the greatest musicians coming out of Ghana, from Sarkodie to the Bisake Day. The list goes on. These are iconic musicians that have been able to bless us with great music. But the conversation now goes to, crossing over into other markets. You are also one of the few Ghanaian musicians or African musicians to have as many collaborations in Nigeria. Talk to me about your partnerships with Nigerian musicians, why you decided to make that happen, and how easy it is for you.
I would say it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to get into the Nigerian market. When I started, I went to university in Ghana, but when I was in uni, I used to visit Lagos a lot. Now I went to Lagos one time, and this is how my journey in Lagos started. I went to Lagos one time, and I went to one of these industry night shows, and I seen that people were doing like free mic stuff, just singing. Open mic. There was an open mic. So I asked who was in charge, and they said this man called Matthew. So I went to this Matthew person. That time I didn't know who Matthew was, and it was Matthew. And then and I said, yo, what's up? So anybody can sing here? And he was like, yeah, and if you can sing, you can pick the mic and sing. And I was like, okay. So this was probably I won't remember, but it was a couple years ago. It was like maybe in my 2nd year of coming out in Ghana. And, I lost you. Are you there?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So and then I was like, yeah, let me sing. So this was an industry night somewhere on opposite Echo. They used to do it somewhere opposite Echo down that there was a club there that Ahmed owned. So I picked the mic, right? And I did one song. I did Oh Pirates, Yes They Rob Redemption song. I will never forget. So I did that song, and Matthew was like, "Yo, you can really sing." I was like, "I told you." He's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Ghana. I'm a university student." Like, but I sing though. Like, I sing in Ghana. You know, my name is Efia, so this and that. And I would believe definitely that that is how my journey in Ghana began, because that industry night, it really changed a lot of things for me. Because Matthew was like, "Bro, I'm about to take you on tour." I went to Port Harcourt, I went to Abuja, I
Wow.
went to a couple places with industry nights,
Yeah.
actually do shows and stuff like that. Singing like my alternative kind of music. But it was really catching up, really catching up. And then I think my first major show in Nigeria would have been Ovation Red Carol, because my family is associated with Dele Momodu because of my mom.
Yeah.
So we linked it up, and then I did a show there. And then after that, Ovation Carol was like, yeah, it was
It's a
done.
wrap in
I just
Nigeria. Everybody wanted Efia on a verse. You've done collaborations. You've worked with everybody from Lynx to MI to Wizkid. The Wizkid record is probably one of the biggest records in the world. And a lot of people still don't know that Efia was on the hook of Daddy Yo. Talk to me about how that collaboration came to being.
Wiz and I probably been friends over 10 years now, as the industry goes. You know, we associate ourselves, and as gradually we become family through the
Yes.
Starboy affiliation. Through the Starboy affiliation that we had, we were like, we have a lot of songs together. Every time I'm around Wiz, he wants me singing. So he's like, "Ah, you are here. We must sing." So and it's always fun because he's an exciting person and so talented, and it's beautiful to make music with him because it's always comes out magical. You don't feel like you are not doing as much as you want to do because there's no kind of competition. It just complements each other. So Daddy O was one of those moments we had in New York where we were working on his album, and it came out, and then he said it, he was like, "Yeah, this is the beat drop." He's like, "Yo, sing this, Squeezy boy, make me dance, Daddy O, make me dance." And I sang
Wow.
it, and then that was
And
so
that was
and then
it.
a little bit of time, and then we have that song, "My African Lady, Sexy."
Yeah. Sexy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That was you as well?
Yes,
I
that
didn't
was
know
me.
that.
Yeah, and then some vocals here and there. So you know, it's beautiful. I think it was a great time to get into the whole Nigerian system, and I was grateful for the opportunity. And music with Links, music with MI, music with so many other Nigerian artists,
So
including
many.
Tiwa as a recent.
Yeah,
So
the Tiwa Savage record is your latest record. Obviously, big shout outs to you guys for collaborating on that record. We've heard in the past that the female entertainers, musicians haven't really supported themselves as much. But to see a collaboration with two queens from Nigeria and Ghana, talk to me about the perception that women don't support each other, and then you working with someone like Tiwa. How did that happen? Talk to me about that.
I think that mostly they pit us against each other just for the cat fights and stuff because it's entertaining. People like the drama. Oh my God, what did she say about her? What did she say about her? But what I do is I get to know everybody on my own level. You understand? I never come at anybody with what it is I've heard. I would like to experience it for myself and know that I made these decisions and not being influenced by whatever somebody is. I honestly won't say there's any female artist in the industry between here and the States that I have any kind of bickering with. All the women in the industry know that I am very, very like supportive,
Yeah,
and I am very, very supportive as I have been since day one. And they've
yeah,
seen it because over the time I have proven that I am actually a supportive person. So it's I think most of the time the beef excites the fans, but
yeah.
also they should know that it takes some things from us. It takes some things from us, and if we would like be encouraging to each other, it would be a different situation altogether because as a unit, the women in the industry are so powerful as a
Absolutely.
unit. as a unit, we are so powerful, and there's so much we can do together. If we forget the bickering and all these other stuff, and actually see what it is that we can like get from this joint collaboration
Yeah.
of powerful, amazing voices from
Yep.
Africa, especially, it will be a great time. And I believe that slowly but surely we are getting there. Slowly but surely.
Absolutely. Talk to me about collaborating with Tiwa. Whose idea was it? How did that telephone conversation happen? And just talk to me about making this magic song.
Honestly, there was no phone call. We were at the same place at the same time, catching
Wow.
a vibe. Yeah, so it was one of the Decembers where everybody was in Ghana as usual,
Yeah.
and we were all like vibing with Black Jersey and making music. She she had just come through and she heard the song and she was like, "What is that? It's nice." And I was like, "Oh, I just made this, with Black Jersey. You should do a verse on it." And she was like, "Yeah, I like it. It's something
Wow.
that I would like to vibe." And that's how naturally it was. She dropped it right there. And then the process took a while because it went back and forth musically. But
Yeah.
if through all the back and forth, we definitely knew that we had done something special. And once she loved it, I knew that there was no way it wasn't going to be a rock. So yeah, grateful for
No,
that.
that's an amazing song, man. We're banging that every single Wednesday on Afro. It's on the
Thank
beat on the
you.
102.6 FM. I love it. I love it. I've always been a fan of yours. I think speaking about introducing you as a musician, you are a musician that I don't think I can put on the same level with a lot of artists because of your versatility. You do soul, you do jazz, you can do Afro beats. I've seen you perform on stage, and I have to be honest with you. The first time I saw it was in Ghana in December, and that to me was one of the most fantastic performances I've ever seen. Um,
Thank
Talk to
you.
me about, blending your traditional sounds with international music. Do you feel a personal, almost kind of responsibility to do that? Or is it just like a natural thing that comes to you?
Honestly, the high life is in me no matter what. Because of the way I grew up in the sounds, that's the basis of my song. You hear it in anything that I do, even if it's a different kind of vibe.
Hmm.
So there isn't much pressure. When I want to do R&B, I'll do R&B. In the source of it, you hear that this is an African girl singing R&B because I will use
Hmm.
my language, I will use my phonetics, and the way I mention the words, you would know definitely that it's coming from somewhere very, very African. And
Hmm.
I think it's great that we install a lot of that into our music so that we don't lose where we're coming from because of where we're going, you know?
Hmm.
Listen,
Absolutely. So
yeah.
talk to me about where you're from, particularly in Ghana. Where are you in Ghana? Where are you from, and what is your tribe? Talk to us about your tribe. Introduce our people to the beauties of Ghana.
I come from Ashanti region, my Toby. I come from the Ashanti region. In
Hmm.
my country, I'm Ashanti because my mom is from the royal family, and because of that, she's a queen mother, and we orient from that side. Even though my dad is a Northerner, my dad is from the northern part of the country, so I have
Hmm.
two very very special mixes inside of me, and because of that, it helps me to broaden my horizon, especially when it comes to the music, because the northern music we have in Ghana is very different from the Ashanti music, but sometimes I do combine them, which is exciting for me that I can do. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think those help with the origin of the sound, definitely.
Hmm. What about the rivalry that exists between Nigeria and Ghana? As a musician, what is that rivalry like? Because sometimes as fans, we try to, we try to spice it up a little bit. Fans can be, talking about Nigeria better than Ghana better than Nigeria. What is it like as a musician to be caught up in that rivalry?
I honestly I have never been really caught up in the rivalry or even fed into it because I see us as brothers and sisters, and as it stands as brothers and sisters, I think sometimes you gotta like you have a little squabble with your brother, you have a little squabble with your sister, but in the end, you're family, and that's what matters. Truly, I think the biggest one is the whole Jollof situation, but
the Jollof situation.
the Jollof situation, but honestly, you know what it is, though. I'm not gonna say nothing because you've been here. Because you've been here.
Let me tell you.
You've been here.
Let me give you my breakdown of this situation. You see, the jollof I ate in Ghana was what we call party jollof, and party jollof is the #1 jollof. So you guys already cheating. You cheating. You got the cheat code. You're making party jollof.
Is it
because
of the rice? Is it because of the rice? Because of basmati rice?
No, I think it's because it's made on those big pots that they make big party jollof on, that we can smell smoke in it.
Oh,
that's why.
Oh, that's why they call it party jollof.
Yeah.
I had a whole different idea. I had a whole different idea about what that was. Wow.
It's the smoke. So when I tasted that, I instantly said, yo, Ghana already is cheating here because they're making normal jollof as party jollof. So you cheating already.
Yeah, but that's how we make our jollof. Then our jollof's been the party jollof since then. Then if you're saying it like that, then that means that it's been, because I didn't even know that was the difference and that was what it was. Because if that's what you're saying, then we have a big discussion to discuss.
I'm joined by people here on Ben Television, YouTube, as well as the Zoom, and of course it's going to be on Ben Television. Anyone that wants to ask a question of Efia, you can just on mic. I can see people putting questions through, but you can on mic yourself and put your question through as we've got Efia here. Whilst I'm waiting for somebody to put up a question, Efia, now that in the last couple of weeks, you've dropped a song with Mugiz, you've with Tiwa Savage. Are we working towards a project? Is this going to be an EP, an album, or you're just still following the singles route?
We're definitely working on an album. I've been working on it for a while, but it's just to get the music together. I was honestly supposed to be in London for almost the first quarter of the year, working with artists out there, but this whole virus has everybody kind of stuck for a bit. But we are grateful that we're able to work from home and still producing, still exchanging ideas over the seas from other people, and just trying to maintain the mind frame to what it could be. But yes, we are working on an album, and yes, we just also dropped another song, Larry Gaga.
Larry Gaga and MI.
With me and MI, so it's very, very beautiful, and we have so many amazing collaborations, especially
I think we've lost Efia for a second.
Everybody was our home shy. And it was easier to reach people to do music and stuff like that. So yes, we are definitely working on an album.
I just wanted to ask you, is there a message? Because I know a lot of the young people in Ghana, as well as Nigeria and in Africa, they look to people like yourselves. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Efia. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi.
Because you're on the road, your service is playing.
Yeah.
Is playing catch up.
Yeah.
Because you're on the road, that's why. Can you hear me now?
Hello. Yeah.
You can't hear me. We're still on Chitchat with the Stars here on Ben Television. I'm Adeshokwe Olajide. This is sponsored by World Remit and powered by Prime Airtime. We are just rounding up with our guest, Efia, who is en route to maybe a studio. Can you hear me, Efia?
So what do? Do I go out and come back in? Text. Hello. Your host asked you to start a video. Okay.
How's this? How's this for you? Is this better, Efia? Is this better, Efia?
Hello. Hi,
We can hear
you
you.
hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. We can't see you, but we can hear you. Hear us? We're live from London and live from Accra at the same time. So we're just having two technicals, but yes, we can see you.
Hi. I'm back. I'm back.
Yes.
It rained here a little bit, so the weather is kind of, you know how it be like when it rains.
Absolutely.
When it rains, yes, it just rains small and Wi-Fi everything don't scatter. Yeah, and we're in the car. We're moving in the car, so
exactly. I just wanted to round up with you. What kind of words of advice do you have for the young people that are looking up to people like yourselves, particularly those that are trying to get in the game?
I would say, honestly, it is what it is. Everything you hear about the work we do and how hard it is and how you need to be dedicated and, it's not easy, but it can be done. I think what it is you need direction. As a young upcoming artist, direction is very important. It helps you form what kind of artist you want to become. And even as rebranding goes, you can always change who you are if you change it the right way, with the kind of way, it's set up in such a way that we can be anything we want to be if we actually believe it, So
absolutely.
For any young person coming up, with all the determination that you have in everything, please know that it's a lot of hard work. It's not easy. And it doesn't come just one day at a time. Even if you have like a hit now, you gotta make like 10 more hits. So
absolutely.
Yes, practice always. I would say practice is very important for any artist, whether you're upcoming or you're older. Practice is very, very important, and developing your craft, and having a team is very important. You can't do everything by yourself. There's something that you will always need to be done much, much better than the singing or the rapping that you do. And there are people that are selected that are great at doing this. Now, if you're fortunate to come by a team that is good at what they do, please listen to the team and let them direct you, because even with the most amazing voice in the world, Beyonce has a team. So I think that's something that I would let everybody.
That's amazing.
Just believe in what it is. Believe in it, and then just work towards it. It won't happen in a day, but it can happen. So it's about how much you want it.
Thank you for that. I think Olayemi has a question. Olayemi, can you unmute yourself and put your question forward to Efia before we let her go? Olayemi, can you hear me? I think Olayemi can't hear me there. But Efia, I want you to also use this opportunity to share your social media platforms and where people can follow and get more information as we're live on Ben Television.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for the opportunity. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook. My YouTube is EFYA. If you type it in, it will come up. Please go subscribe and watch the videos. We have so much music coming. My Instagram is Efia_Noktanal, NOKTURNAL, And yeah, if I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. My Facebook is EFYA. It's honestly very simple. It's the way you say it, it's the way you sing it. EFYA.
Yo, listen, man. Thank you very much for spending this time with us.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the success so far. We're about to hit the next level of success for you. The music with Tiwa Savage is incredible. The one with Mugiz, I love my brother, incredible as well. So someone is asking a question.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. Can you put your
Sorry,
question
it's a bit noisy. It's a bit noisy. Sorry, I had to run away to somewhere more quiet. Hi, Hefia.
Yes, please. Hi, ma.
Yeah, my name is Alayemi, and like I said, this is my first time of hearing about you. Pardon me if that sounds to be rude.
No, please.
But
no, please.
Yeah, you sound so lovely. You sound so very nice. Someone said your voice sounds like you're singing. I mean, that's how sweet it sounds to the ear, to be honest.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So I said, you said from the beginning that you're into acting and all that. So have you considered going into, collaborating with Nigerian artists? Because I believe that will give us more avenue to see you more. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So is this something you're considering, really?
Yes, please. I definitely believe in collaboration. It's one of the things I'm working on very much this year. I just dropped a song with Tiwa Savage, and you should go check it out, and I think you're really going to love it. If you don't have the socials, you can check it out on YouTube. It's there. It's called The One, and I'm definitely sure it's something you're going to vibe to. And yes, I am looking forward to collaborating with a lot more Nigerian artists. And I hope that as the borders open, we will definitely head that way to make more impact with our music.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just something a bit deviation from what it is really. You know all these Ghanaian dudes that used to tension us on IG? To be honest, is that how it is generally in Ghana? Or those are just pretty majority of you guys, yes. Like seriously, how it is in Ghana, Efia.
Honestly, man, that's how it is. Oh, that's how it is. It's the
so you've got some good blokes there, yeah.
It's the banku. It's the banku. When you come, you understand.
And I definitely need to visit soon to come and check it out myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Man. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much. I swear, listen, those Ghanaian brothers definitely tension, and the Ghanaian women tension us too. So
it's exciting. That's the real brotherhood and sisterhood of the Ghana-Niger love.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I just wanted to say real quick before you go, I wanted to say thank you so much, because I appreciate you. God knows that you have supported me ever since you found out about me. You hadn't even met me, but you still play my music on the radio. I send you emails and you reply them, and like, you supportive, and it's great to see, because not everybody comes through, even though they say they are going to, but you come through, and I really appreciate it. So God bless you. And I promise you that I'm gonna make you more and more proud than you are of me right now. Thank you. And I'm so grateful you got to watch me for
Ghana.
Because I needed you to see that, because I feel like once you saw that,
when I saw that, my mind blew.
Yes.
When I saw that, I was so stoked. I was like, nah, the world needs to hear and see what I saw.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful that we had this opportunity on Ben Television to at least introduce you to our audience around the world, and we look forward to celebrating you more. So Efia, thank you very much for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a wonderful evening. To God bless you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye. Yeah. So again, it is Chit Chat with the Stars here on Ben Television. We were just joined by Efia, a queen from Ghana, a singing sensation that has broken all forms of records in Ghana, from winning the best female vocalist for 4 straight years in the entire country, to collaborating with the likes of Wizkid, MI, and crossing the borders into Nigeria and making a name for herself. That right there is Effie. I really encourage you to check it out. And before that, we spoke to the legend and icon that is Ramsey Nouah here on Chit Chat with the Stars, sponsored by World Remit. And once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for joining us today, especially Ben Television for broadcasting, Mr. Alistair Shoyode, the producer, Ronke Pampa, working heavily behind the scenes, even though you can't see or hear. We want to say thank you for the hard work. And of course, our sponsors, World Remit, for supporting Once More, and Prime Airtime here for powering us as well. It's the same time, same place here on Ben Television next weekend, where we'll be joined by more celebrities on Chit Chat with the Stars. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, it is peace out and stay blessed.